Welcome everyone to the Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships. I'm Sean Royster, this is former pro Aaron Katz. Aaron, the US Open, does it get any bigger than this?
No, and we're getting into pretty rarefied air here, Sean. 4 players left. We started with 64. Now we're getting down to the person who wants to be #1 in the world.
Well, this matchup today, Cliff Swain, a legend on tour. Some have said he's the best player to ever play the game. Been winning racquetball tournaments for 20 years. And virtually a newcomer to the tour, but dominating so far, Jack Huczak.
Yeah, and great matchup on a couple of fronts. One, as you point out, Jack is the newcomer. I think Jack was 2 years old when Cliff won his first pro stop. Cliff is the seasoned pro at 38, but still playing great, and also very contrasting styles of play. Cliff, pure power player, really revolutionized the power game, and Jack is much more of a control player, so it'll be very interesting to see who's able to dictate their style of play.
Well, let's take a look at Cliff Swain's draw now and see who he had to deal with getting to the semifinal.
Well, Cliff had a very tough quarterfinal. He played former US Open champ and former #1 Jason Menino, and it was a very tight match. The third and fourth games, Cliff really turned it up a notch and won a tough 4-game match, and I think that match will serve him well for 2 reasons. One, he really endured from a mental standpoint. 2, Jack plays a very similar style to Jason, so I think it'll prepare him very well for Jack.
Well, let's go to Cliff now and see what he thinks about this matchup against the young Jack Huczak today.
Playing Jack will be a lot like playing Jason. Mostly a retriever. I feel like Jason kills the ball better than Jack, but Jack also gets around a little bit better, has a little bit more power. Again, if I do my job today like I did yesterday, I feel like I should be playing on Sunday. If he's not playing well against me, I'll never let up, not for a second. The US Open's the best tournament going. We got the, 2,000–3,000 fans out there. We're on the Tennis Channel. It's for 3 times the points, 3 times the money. And everyone wants to win this tournament. You win this tournament, you usually end up ranked #1, so I want to win this tournament.
Looks like Cliff is not going to stand for anything except for pure intensity in this match.
No, and you'd expect nothing less. These guys are both intense competitors, and they're clearly going to be going at it from point 1.
Well, Jack Huczak's got his hands full. Let's see what he had to deal with to get to this match in the semis.
Well, Jack had a very, very tough semi, very physical, very mentally draining match against Derek. Quite frankly, Jack was not on his game in that match, and I think it's a testament to his mental toughness that he was able to get through that match without being at his best, but he's going to have to really bring up his level of play today to beat Cliff.
Jack definitely knows who he's playing today. Let's hear from him now and see what he thinks about this matchup against Cliff Swain.
Well, first of all, Cliff's one of the greats, who's ever played, and he, his intensity and his shot-making ability are really, stand apart from a lot of other people, and so I'm expecting that. I'm expecting him to play his best. I'm expecting him to be ripping serves like he's been ripping all week. I'm really going to have to be on my toes and focus on a strong service return, or else, the match is going to be over pretty quick. So as long as I play solid defense and I take advantage of the opportunities that come my way, then I should be successful. I don't anticipate Cliff bringing the physicalness to the game like Derek and I yesterday, but if he does, he can bring it because I'm prepared for it. But, I just know that if I follow my game plan and do what I can do, then, I don't have any doubt to the outcome of the match.
Jack, really confident, actually. I mean, compared to what I expected, he knows he's going against a champion. Seems like he's ready for this.
Yeah, no question. He's got a lot of respect for Cliff, but he's had a lot of success with Cliff. I think he's got a very strong 1-loss record with Cliff, and Cliff was the first top player Jack beat when he first joined the tour 4 years ago. So he's had good success with Cliff. He feels his style matches up well, and he's a confident player.
Both players very confident. To me, it looks like a prize fight today. Both guys ready to slug it out. We're going to see what happens. Excitement to come right here, the semifinals of the US Open. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tennis Channel. We are watching the 2004 Choice Hotels US Open Racquetball Championships. This semifinal, Cliff Swain, Jack Huczak, both very aggressive game styles.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. Cliff, pure power, you know what's coming. Drive serve from point 1. Jack has a little more varied game, doesn't quite have Cliff's firepower, but relies on great movement and very creative shot selection.
No doubt both players mentally prepared, physically prepared. Let's go down to courtside now and watch these players as they take the court. They shake hands here. Jack has won the toss to serve. And game one is getting started. Let's see what Jack puts together as a serve pattern here for Cliff Swain. He knows he's got to come out on top early, or Cliff Swain is going to punish him.
And Sean, the last several weeks we've talked a lot about focusing on that serve, return to serve pattern. To look for here is Jack going to be able to hit a lob serve that prevents Cliff from cutting it off and forces him to strike it in the back of the court.
Great shot by Cliff Swain.
Good
controlling
start
that first rally.
Yeah, and once again, there Jack did not accomplish what he wanted. Cliff was able to cut that serve off, immediately put pressure on Jack. He hit it right back on Jack's body. Jack had a flick to the ceiling, and Cliff controlled the rally from the start.
And unlike other sports that you see out there, tennis being one of them, you only get one serve in pro racquetball. So incredible that they choose to drive serve in tennis, and if they don't get it in, then they have another opportunity. You don't get that second chance in racquetball.
That's right. And you know what? The reason they went to one serve was because in the late 80s and early 90s, Cliff was so dominant with his serve that they went to one serve to try and decrease the impact of the serve.
So Cliff responsible for changing a rule.
Absolutely. Nice angles there by Cliff. Here's a setup. Good ceiling ball that's coming off the back wall. Set up for Cliff off the back. Good get by, what a rally this is. Back wall setup.
Wow. Wow. What a battle early on in this match.
That's a great racquetball right there.
I mean, if this is going to continue, this is going to be an unbelievable match. These two going toe-to-toe out there.
That's a great point. A lot of good shots, a lot of good gets. Both players, not surprisingly, have come out very focused, very intense.
Definitely going to question the get there on that.
Yeah, and it was very close. I think Jack got his racket under it. Once again, this will be a good test for Cliff early on if he can keep his focus on the court rather than at the referee. There's going to be a lot of close calls. These players play very tight. Cliff hits a lot of drive serves. There's going to be a lot of diving. Both players are going to have to deal with some calls they may not like.
Wow. Good stuff there. Both players not yet to score a point. I don't think they're ready to give it up easy. We spoke earlier about Cliff Swain and his fitness and how he's increased his level of workouts. Also, that serve, you'll be able to see how Cliff will serve drive serves throughout this entire match. Not easy in a game like racquetball that's really excruciating on the body.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing Cliff recognized. He plays a very physical game, drive serves almost every time, plays all out every point, dives a lot, and he recognized, particularly as he got into his late 30s, he really needed to take great care of himself to continue to compete at this level, and clearly he has.
And Cliff draws first blood and gets the first point on the board there. 1-0.
Great shot there for Jack. And Jack has come out, I think, much more aggressive than he did against Derek. He's shooting the ball a lot more, looks much more relaxed. I think he came out a little bit tight against Derek, and then I think Derek got in his head a little bit with some of that physical play.
Let's see if Jack Huczak can put a point on the board here. Not with shots like that.
Yeah.
Cliff hits a great shot.
Yeah, once again, that's a serve. You do not want Cliff or anybody, any pro at this level, striking your serve up by the 5-foot line, whether it's a drive serve or a lob serve. You want to force them to contact that ball in the deep part of the court.
Skip ball. See, calls like that are such a very, very tough shot to see.
Yeah, it's a great call, though. It was very tough to see, but it was the right call, and obviously from Jack's reaction, he didn't argue at all. You know it was the right call.
2-0 here. Cliff Swain sticks with that heat. That's a great serve. It's a very, very tough shot.
It's a good call. Once again, Cliff working hard to stay focused. His instincts, looks like he wants to say something to the ref, even though that was clearly 2 bounces.
This is our 5th show in a series of 9 you'll see here on the Tennis Channel. Our coverage of the 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championship.
And there's a better serve. He forced Cliff to hit that one from the back of the court. Good angle, stretches Cliff out. Again, good angle by Jack. Goes back to the ceiling. Good get by Cliff. Great angle by Jack and a good flick.
Oh, wow. Cliff doing some heavy work there to keep into that rally.
That's,
Put a lot of pressure on Jack Huczak.
Great rally for both players. That's the kind of match Jack wants, where he's controlling the rally, getting Cliff on the defense. Cliff is a great getter, but he has a tendency to pop to the ceiling when he's on the run, so Jack can continually get offensive shots. Cliff playing very smart, ultimately forcing Jack to go for a kill shot and not letting them beat him with those angles and force Jack to skip that last pinch in the corner.
Cliff 2-0, hits a short serve there.
Yeah.
You won't see too many of those out of Cliff.
No, and so far this has been a great match. A lot of tight matches. Both players look very good right now. Even though Jack hasn't scored yet and is down 2-0, he's clearly shown an ability to dictate play a little bit more than he did last week against Derek.
Jack Huczak yet to get a point on the board here.
And again, forcing Cliff to contact the ball deep in the court.
And he does.
That's
One serves 2 now.
And that's 2 straight times. Remember, looking at that serve return to serve exchange, Sean, it's so important that Jack forced Cliff to strike the ball in the back 4 to 6 feet of the court, not up by the 5-foot line, which is only 25 feet from the front wall, and gives Cliff a much better opportunity to initiate offense.
We spoke in the earlier matches, Aaron, about players coming into these matches with game plans. What, in your mind, could be a game plan that Jack had going into this match?
I think Jack's game plan is to hit a lot of angles, move Cliff around. I think he thinks Cliff has a tendency to get a little too far forward in the court, hit a lot of angles against Cliff, and move Cliff around a lot, and then wait till he gets his setups and then kill the ball. Like that one rally we saw before, I think, is what Jack would love to see happening more often, even though he lost the point.
Nice get.
Good get by Jack. Great get again.
Already some great gets and some great racquetball. And you can expect a lot more when we return here on the Tennis Channel. And we're back here. Cliff Swain leading this first game 3-1. Oh, wow. Great anticipation and almost got his racket on that.
Yeah, great angle there by Jack, too. Really jammed that into the sidewall to make it tough for Cliff. See Jack taking a lot of time, a lot more time in between serves today than we saw against Derek. I think he understands how important it is that he pushed Cliff into the deep part of the court with his serve. Once again, did not force Cliff to strike it from the deep part of the court. He hit the side wall a little too high with that lob serve, and Cliff was able to cut it off.
This ball traveling so fast. A rubber ball hitting someone on the skin can leave quite a welt. You certainly don't want to get in the way of a shot when the ball is traveling up to 200 miles an hour. That's a mark that's going to stay there for a long time.
You know, and some amazing, you know, most players, most people watching at home, would, as fast as it's moving and as close as these players play, would think that you get hit by the ball more often, but it very seldom happens at this level because they have such great control. Missed opportunity there for Cliff. That's about the first unforced error we've seen this whole match so far. Jack missed his angle. He was trying to pull a wide cross court, and Cliff really had a good opportunity and skipped it.
Jack Huczak taking his time, definitely putting a game plan and thinking out his serve before he lines up.
Yep, thinking real hard about it. I'd like to see him go to this more often, hit a drive serve or a Z to Cliff's backhand. And there's that Z serve. And there's an opportunity.
That's a great get. Jack looking for a hander, but the crowd loving Cliff Swain right now.
Yeah, Cliff made an unbelievable effort and a bit of a lucky break.
Cliff Swain leading 4-1. Still bringing drive serve right at Jack Huczak, being very aggressive so far.
Yeah, very, very focused. Both players.
Good
That's
serve
a great
there by Cliff
serve.
Swain.
And that was a great mix-up. That was the first Z serve Cliff hit, and then Jack was unable to get it before it got into the third wall, making it a very, very difficult to return.
Cliff very controlled so far. Just hitting everything. Serves are perfect. Getting the return from Jack, leaving Cliff with a great opportunity to put the ball away.
Yeah, and Cliff is looking great now. He's been able to sustain his level of play, and Jack has dropped off just enough. He needs to get back in this game right now, or it can slip away quickly.
It's a bunch of terrible shots there.
Yeah,
Couple
certainly a
opportunities
missed
on-
shot there, and I think Cliff is thinking that's either a no call or an avoidable, and I kind of agree with him. I think it should have been a no call. Jack had cleared, and Cliff had an opportunity to be offensive.
Still 6-1 here. Cliff Swain lining up to drive serve. It's a great shot. Is that the right call, Aaron?
No, I think he missed the call. Yeah, a little bit of an awkward angle, but I think it was a missed call there by the ref. And once again, we'll see. This is where Cliff has gotten into trouble sometimes, where he gets focused on the ref, starts thinking the calls are against him, and he's done a nice job getting focused right back on the game.
We've seen in past matches with Cliff Swain. that is
Great
just-
overhead there by Cliff.
Nice shot from Cliff Swain. What a slugfest.
Boy, does he look-
Both players, and Cliff Swain comes out on top with that great forehand.
Boy, does he look good. I mean, he is just aggressive, focused,
Serving one.
and playing great ball right now.
As I was beginning to say earlier there, the only thing that could get into the head of Cliff Swain is if he starts talking to this referee about calls. That's a good shot by Jack Huczak.
These guys are playing great racquetball. I mean, Jack, I guess the disappointing thing if you're Jack right now is that you're not playing bad and you're down 6-1. It just means you're going to have to step it up that much more because Cliff is playing at such a high level and such a high intensity level as well.
One, serving 6.
Jack Huczak hitting a few balls here on the front wall. You can tell by the look on his face he's trying to search for something that's going to work here against the champ. Cliff Swain, known as the best player to ever play racquetball with 6 world titles. Cliff gets it
Cliff
right back.
is so focused and so intense. Jack hit a good drive serve there,
Serving one.
and Cliff just stepped over and ripped it.
There's been a lot of players that have come to this game and dominated for just certain periods of time. We've had the Sudzi Monchiks. We've now got Kane Wazelinchuk. But as far as longevity goes, Aaron, I don't see that you can beat a run like Cliff Swain has had with 20 years.
There's
of winning
no
tournaments.
comparison. The only one who's even close is Marty, and really Marty was not a threat to win a tournament beyond age 32 or 33. So Cliff has really taken it to an age that no player has.
When we get back, more of the champ Cliff Swain versus the
Time's
young
in.
Jack Huczak.
1.
We're back here on the Tennis Channel. You're watching the 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships. This is the 5th in a series of 9 you'll be seeing here on the Tennis Channel. Jack Huczak serving. Scores 1, serving 6 in game 1.
Jack going back to this lob, nick to Cliff's backhand, which he's had varying degrees of success. Once again, unable to cause Cliff to strike that ball deep in the court has been a consistent challenge of Jack so far in his serve.
You've mentioned that if something's not working, if you're trying to serve, let's say you come into a match thinking you're going to serve or have a certain pattern in your head on how you're going to serve against this player and it doesn't work, you want to mix it up?
Well, it's a great question. You got to make a decision whether your serve is not working because you've chosen the wrong serve or because you're not executing it. At this point, I think it's too early for Jack to abandon his serve. I don't think he's executing it very well. I think he needs to concentrate a little bit more, mix up the angle a little bit, get it into the glass just to prevent Cliff from stepping up.
1-6. Jack Huczak with a drive serve.
Nope, that's good.
Cliff Swain wins that rally again. So I've seen a variety of different looks, different areas in the box that Jack has tried a couple different things, and it seems like Cliff Swain has an answer every time.
Yeah, no, Cliff is very focused on return of serve now, and it's clear to me that part of his game plan is to get inside Jack's head on the return of serve and make sure Jack understands that no matter what Jack does.
What a get by Cliff Swain. Not a bad shot by Jack Huczak, but Cliff got up there and hit a re-kill off that sidewall.
Yeah, and Cliff is just very focused now. Serve, return to serve, really controlling the game.
What a big lead here by Cliff Swain in this first game.
No, that's short ball.
Definitely trying to make a statement. Crowd doesn't like that one, but that is the right call.
Oh, clearly short. Clearly short.
1-7. Jack's searching for something to get a couple points on the board here.
Hold it. Point. Point.
Avoidable hinder.
Yeah, it's a terrible call.
Let's tell the folks at home, if you're watching, what an avoidable hinder is.
Serving 7.
Cliff hit his ball and it went into the corner. He went for it down the line and it shot out of the corner, and Cliff couldn't get out of the way. But that was not an offensive opportunity for Jack because the ball had so much speed, he would have been jammed.
Great shot.
Good shot there by Jack. Very, very fast play we're seeing from both players here. Very few ceiling balls, offensive every shot, a lot of front court stuff, quick hands, very exciting racquetball.
I can't think of another sport where your reaction time has to be so sharp with this ball in such a small area going up to 200 miles an hour.
There's a better serve, forcing Cliff to at least strike it from the back of the court.
Point.
And then a good angle there by Jack. Nice little run by Jack here to pull himself into the game here. All started by that short serve that Cliff hit. Gave Jack just a little bit of opening, and he's capitalized. Let's see if he can keep it going. Once again, if it was a weakness, and I think I'm stretching it a little bit, Sean, to even call it a weakness that we've seen with Cliff, is holding on to leads.
It seems that way. He is. The match against Menino that we saw in the quarterfinals.
7.
He had a lead in virtually all the games, and he somehow let Jason get back into the match. He definitely doesn't want that to happen here against Jack Huczak.
Great angle there. Great get by Cliff. What a shot that was. Just an unbelievable shot there by Jack.
4.
Jack's now got a few points on the board here.
Yeah, Jack's got it to
4-7.
4-7, just sided Cliff out. If he can get a little bit of a run here to push it to 6-7, 7-7, we might see an exciting end to this first game. Yeah,
Cliff hit a great shot there.
Yeah, hit a good shot, but Jack certainly had an opportunity there, and Jack cannot afford to skip that ball if this level of play is going to stay where it's at. You really have to play error-free racquetball to win at this level.
Cliff Swain showing no sign of any chance of bringing anything else other than drive serves, and Cliff takes a timeout there. We're going to take a little timeout, but when we get back, Cliff Swain and Jack Huczak. The great, exciting racquetball here at the 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships here on the Tennis Channel. We've spoken many times, Aaron, about the strategy of taking timeouts and the timing.
Yeah, and I think this is a good one from Cliff. He normally doesn't like taking timeouts, but he was up 7-1. Jack had come up to 4-7. He was back in the box, took a little break, got off the court. He wants to see if he can get back on the court and regain that momentum that he started the game with.
Let's see if he can do just that here as Cliff is serving to Jack Huczak. He's leading in this first game. Game 1, 7 serves 4. It's been an intense match, quite a tournament for both players. Very aggressive racquetball.
Oh, that's a bad miss by Jack. Jack did not hit a very good return of serve. He left Cliff a forehand setup. Cliff didn't do as much with the ball as you would expect, and Jack had a re-kill opportunity and skipped it into that left wall.
That was a good return by Jack Huczak.
Yeah, but that's
and then a mistake.
3 straight skips with Jack's backhand. That is very uncharacteristic, and there's no way he can get away with that. To give up 3 free points at this level and the way Cliff is playing, he cannot do that.
That's a great serve by Cliff Swain. Oh, wow. A little over-ambitious there by Cliff Swain.
But if Cliff's going to err on one side, he's going to err on the side of overly aggressive. The last thing he needs to do is get tentative. So that's good that he's still taking his shots, trying to close out the game.
Look at that pass.
Yeah.
Such power coming from the backhand.
Yeah, and he is equal, as most of these players are, forehand and backhand. Once again, Jack just is not going to be able to get any sustained offense if Cliff is consistently able to strike his serve at the 5-foot line.
Wow, great shot. That one puts Cliff in a position to win game 1 here at 10 serves 4.
Serving 4.
You take a look at the leg of Jack Huczak as he's really taking an abuse here. He's got a nice bruise there on his lower calf. Good shot.
It was a good shot.
Jack Huczak sort of held up there as Cliff was in his way, but kept his composure and hit a nice flat rollout in the front court.
Jack's got to find something that can work. And when you're down 10-4 in a game like this, obviously you never want to give up on the game. But even if you don't come back and win it, if you can find something that works for you, build a little confidence going into that second game.
Fully extended, just out of the reach of Jack Huczak. Cliff lined up to serve here, trying to put this game 1 away. Ball short.
Again, Jack hanging around. Doesn't need to be thinking about coming back to win this game, but he needs to hang in there. It's a great opportunity when you're down like this to experiment with some serves, do something a little different, see if you latch onto something that you can use later in the match. And that's a new serve to Cliff's forehand. Same result, though, forcing Jack to a defensive shot.
If that didn't hit him, that would be an avoidable hinder.
Absolutely.
As you spoke about what an avoidable hinder is, if it takes away
an offensive opportunity. It's a hinder that takes away an offensive opportunity. If a hinder occurs and it wasn't an obvious advantage to one player, it's a replay. But if the hinder took away an offensive opportunity, the player that caused the hinder loses the rally.
Cliff Swain with game point. It's another short serve. Uncharacteristic of Cliff Swain.
He's hit 2 or 3 shorts here at the end. Certainly uncharacteristic, but once again, he's going to stay aggressive. He's going to keep drive serving. He's going to continue to take risks. And the worst thing he can do is, because he makes a couple of errors, deviate from that game plan that's been so effective.
Jack Huczak serving 4, serves 10.
And I do like what Jack is doing here late in the game. Not having much better results, but he's using the end of the game here to experiment with some different serves. There he hit a little different serve. As you remember last time he hit that half lob to Cliff's forehand, trying to see if he can find something that he can come out in the second game and create some offense, because right now he hasn't been able to generate any offense at all.
Cliff wins game 1. Took him 3 or 4 times to do it, but he did. He's up 1-0. Unbelievable racquetball at a very high level here at the Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships. We'll be right back here on the Tennis Channel. And we're back here. Cliff Swain with the lead here in game 2. He's up 1-0. So far, Cliff Swain controlling this match, Aaron.
Yeah, no question. From point 1, he's controlled it. Jack has showed moments where he's been able to compete at Cliff's level, but he has not shown an ability to sustain it on a constant basis. New serve position here for Cliff, going all the way by the left wall. Oh, and a very tough Z serve.
Oh, wow. Cliff hammered that ball in the right corner.
Yeah, and that's a great serve. There's no way Jack can let that Z serve get into the third wall and expect to have a chance. He's got to cut that off before the third wall.
From back there.
It's a very difficult shot, though. Cliff is hitting that Z serve so hard, and at such a sharp angle.
6 serving 3.
When Cliff sets his feet with a setup, he just pummels that ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just hitting the ball forehand and backhand so flat.
Cliff Swain sticks with a drive serve. Great shot.
Another one.
Jack Huczak hitting some good shots. Just got to find a way to hit those shots while he's serving. So it's 3 serves 6.
And in order to do that, he's got to find a serve that doesn't put him on the defense. Third shot of the rally. There's a good serve, back wall setup. Good shot.
That's textbook racquetball, Aaron, when I guess you serve, try to get a setup from your opponent, and that third shot is so crucial for you to put down.
Yeah, and if Jack can work his way into the rallies with Cliff, he's got a shot. He just has not been able to get into the rallies. Cliff has been dominating the rally early on and putting Jack on the defensive. Another good serve, forces Cliff to go to the ceiling. Jack goes up to the ceiling.
Wow. Tough ceiling ball by Cliff Swain, forcing Jack Huczak to hit another ceiling ball.
Yeah, and
Cliff up and he puts it down in that left corner.
Cliff stepped around it and just pummeled that forehand. Now Jack, it may have been painful, but Jack probably should have stepped in front of that shot, not giving Cliff that wide corner.
That's a good call.
Another foot fault.
Stinks. Come on, get that over the line.
You can just call foot fault because every time he does it.
4 serving 6.
It's comments like that the crowd can hear. Jack Huczak comes in to hear the villain in this melodrama between Cliff Swain and whoever he plays, really. He's not here to make friends. Jack Huczak's here to win racquetball games.
Well, that's a mistake there by Cliff, and Jack did not make him pay.
First one.
Jack trying to pump himself up there, screaming at himself.
Ridiculous. Put the ball away.
5 serving.
And this might be a good sign. Jack needs to get a little emotion into this match, a little bit of intensity to match Cliff's intensity. Probably more important, though, than intensity, Sean. What he really needs is a consistent serve to get into the rally. There's a good one.
There it is. Jack ties it up at 6-all.
And he has served a little bit better here. It is not by chance that he's made this run from 2 to 6. What he's been able to do is serve much better, at least force Cliff to strike the ball from the back 4 to 6 feet of the court. Once again, did not follow it up.
Hold it. That's a replay.
Bad call again. Bad call again, twice.
That's clearly the right call. Clearly
Listen,
the right
Aaron,
call.
it's not Jason Menino we're watching out here. He's going to get that ball?
there's a lot of people slower than Jack that could have gotten that ball. He had come in right behind Cliff. The ball was up in the corner. Jack was right there. He almost had it anyway. I think if you look at that one again, you'll see, Sean, you'll be apologizing to me because it really wasn't even close.
Well, we'll see about that. That would be a long shot. Because even when I'm wrong, I don't know. It's very, very tough for me to admit it. We're playing that rally over.
Good serve there by Jack.
Hold it. Replay on.
Nowhere near him. Nowhere near him.
Replay.
Okay.
You know, that was
You just got taken. You know what that is?
A hinder.
that was kind of a
Jason Thorner getting some props. And Cliff likes it. He knew that was a good response. So he smirks. 'cause
you
he
know
knows.
what I like about this is Cliff obviously dealing with a ref situation much better than we've seen it in the past. Clearly here, keeping control of his emotions much better than we saw yesterday against Jason and sometimes in the past as well.
See that there? The
Jack
next shot, he misses.
Been much more successful in this game in forcing Cliff to strike that return of serve from the deep part of the court. When he forces Cliff to strike the ball from the deep part of the court and gets into the rallies, he's got a much better chance.
That's an opportunity missed by Jack Huczak.
Yeah, but a good run here for Jack. He's come from 2-6 to build a very
6. Serving 7.
short 7-6 lead, but the tempo of the game is going much better for him. He's been able to create some offense in the service box for the first time this match. Back wall setup. Oh, missed opportunity again.
That's a great slugfest by both players. Unbelievable.
And one thing we're seeing a lot of today, much more so than in the last couple of weeks' matches, we saw it with Jason against Cliff. Jason, every time he was making great gets, he was just popping the ball to the ceiling, and Cliff was able to keep the pressure on him. There you see Jack diving and taking a full swing to keep a little pressure on Cliff, and Cliff ultimately skipped that last shot because of that pressure.
Both incredible athletes, incredible racquetball. We'll see more of that when we get back here on our 5th show in a series of 9 here on the Tennis Channel. We'll be right back. And we're back here in Memphis. Incredible tournament, incredible matchup here between a champion, 6-time world champion Cliff Swain versus a newcomer, the domination of Jack Huczak.
Yeah, and Jack needs to continue to hit good serve, force Cliff to strike that ball deep in the court. Another effective serve forces Cliff to go to the ceiling.
Nice re-kill. Nice flick shot there by Cliff Swain.
It's a great shot by Cliff. Not only was it a very good ceiling ball he hit, but a great re-kill. But from Jack's perspective, he's way better off in a rally like that than where Cliff is cutting off his serve and putting pressure on him right from the start.
6 serve 7. Cliff Swain drive serving to Jack Huczak. That's left that up a little bit too much there on that back wall, giving Jack an opportunity to shoot.
Yeah, and that's the second time we've seen that where Cliff hits his drive serve to Jack's forehand off the back wall, and Jack lets the ball run out a little bit in front of him and just rips it into that left corner for a reverse pinch a little bit.
Well, you can see the focus on both players' faces. Briefly go out of it, get involved with the referee, but then both of them doing a great job of finding themselves back into regaining focus in this match. It's a terrible mistake by Jack Huczak.
Well, that's a bad miss. You know, Jack has had an opportunity here to create a little bit of separation. That's the second backhand he skipped that would have given him 8-6. So he could be looking at 8-6 or 9-6. Instead, Cliff is in the service box at 6-7. Jack may wind up regretting those blown opportunities because you don't get too many of those the way Cliff is playing.
Cliff Swain serving, trailing 1 point. Nice reach.
Great shot. There, Jack took a little more time versus that last backhand where he skipped. backed up on the ball a little bit, let Cliff settle into center court, and just hit a beautiful pinch in that left corner, which is really his bread and butter. That backhand pinch in the left corner, he's deadly with.
You see the way Cliff jumps over that ball. A lot of amateur players, club players duck, but at this level, if you don't jump, you're going to take a shot that you're not going to enjoy, as you can see there from the mark on Jack Huczak's leg there.
And there we saw
certainly
Cliff.
No fun getting hit with that ball, traveling at speeds 200 miles an hour.
And there you saw Cliff going to cut off that serve again, catching on to Jack's little dump serve over to his forehand. The last couple of times he had caught Cliff a little bit off guard. That time Cliff was all over it.
Cliff back serving in the box here, 6 serve 7. Skip ball, now he ties it up.
Yeah.
7 serve 7, Cliff Swain got away with something there. He had an opportunity to shoot it, but
7.
Boy, that's three backhand skips for Jack at a crucial point in this game.
there's that mark we talked about.
That was an awkward-looking serve there. Cliff clearly contacted that ball a little higher than he's accustomed to, and it forced him to hit it way short. Great serve, set up for Jack, and a great shot. See, if Jack can continue to force Cliff to either go to the ceiling, or even if he's got to shoot the ball from the back of the court, he's got a shot.
There's that mark, Aaron. You can see it there. A couple different colors. Where when that ball hits, it certainly does have a bullseye effect, doesn't it?
It sure does.
So
great
close.
shot there by, that is a great play because Cliff dove, hit a very tough angle that if Jack didn't cut that ball off, would have driven Jack way back into the deep part of the court. And Jack, using great racket skills, just punched a winner, really exploiting the fact that Cliff was stuck on the floor. And now he's created, I think, his first 2-point lead of the match. And these leads are tough to come by, so you need to really take advantage of them.
It's a good shot by Cliff Swain.
Yeah, it's a great shot, and it wasn't as good a serve as Jack has hit, but he is still better off forcing Cliff to hit that shot from 36, 37 feet than letting Cliff cut that serve off. We talked a little bit earlier about, Sean, whether you need to switch your serve or execute a little bit better. I think Jack has gotten a little more focused and is executing the serve a little bit better to force to force Cliff into the back of the court.
Cliff now serving 7-9.
Great shot there by Jack.
Come on, play better. Come on.
A couple opportunities by Cliff Swain.
Yeah.
Had a great setup there by
Yeah, he
Jack.
really missed an opportunity. Cliff has dipped a little bit in his level of execution. Not in his intensity, but his level of execution is not quite as precise. Set up off the back wall.
He makes him pay for it. That's a terrible shot by Cliff Swain.
Yeah.
Puts Jack in a position to take game 2.
And this is
Serving 7.
the mental aspect of this game, is which player is willing to stay in there, continue to hold the line, continue to stay mentally tough. In this second game, Jack kind of turned the table so far on Cliff. He was able to sustain that intensity for the whole game.
Cliff Swain not ready to give up here.
No, great shot. I kind of like Jack's serve, though. He mixed up a serve, hit a decent serve to Cliff's backhand. Cliff just hit a great shot down the line. If Jack can continue to have force Cliff to hit a more difficult return of serve, I think he's got a great shot in this match.
7. Serving 10.
7 serves 10. Great shot, nice effort. Incredible athletic ability by Cliff Swain as he dives through the air and kills it.
And this, not to put a hex on Jack, But if you remember, he was up 10-7 against Derek a couple of weeks ago and let the lead slip away. And Derek eventually came back to win that first game 13-11. So Jack knows that a 10-7 lead is not safe. If it's not safe with Derek Robinson, you know it's not safe against Cliff Swain.
Cliff Swain looked like he was dominating after that first game, came out very strong in game 2, but now he finds himself in a situation at 8 serves 10.
Great serve there.
Wow!
That is
He
just
took that right
unbelievable.
out of the air. Unbelievable shot by Cliff Swain.
And all set up by a great serve. I mean, Jack did well just to get that ball out of the corner, and then Cliff just absolutely buried it in that right corner.
9-10. Cliff Swain sticks with the drive serve. Nice reach.
No, that's 2 bounces.
That's kind of a lucky crack for Jack because Cliff was all over that shot, and it cracked into the side wall.
Let's take a look here. Jack Huczak lines up to serve.
And there's
Game
that
point.
serve.
And Cliff Swain misses and loses game 2.
And, you know, a nice adjustment there by Jack. You know, he hit that lob down the wall that I had predicted he might hit Sean, and the adjustment he made is he hit it even shorter, so when Cliff came up to cut it off, he had to strike it much higher than he was striking the others, which he was getting right off the floor and able to re-kill.
This is racquetball at its finest. It doesn't get any better than this. Both players with 1 game apiece. We'll be right back here for game 3, the U.S. Open, brought to you by the Tennis Channel. Welcome back here on the Tennis Channel. Pretty incredible stuff here. This is Jack Huczak and the champion, Cliff Swain, 6-time world champion. Cliff Swain right away takes Jack out of the box. No points scored.
Yeah, and you know, the barometer we continue to look for is Jack able to force Cliff to hit his return to serve from the back of the court, and he was able to do that on that shot. So we'll see if Jack can continue to do it. There's another backhand skip for Jack, at least the 7th or 8th of the match. Very uncharacteristic.
Cliff Swain scores first here, 1-0, but
And that's probably Cliff's 7th or 8th fall, uncharacteristic for him.
Serving 1.
Cliff unable to get a run going after that first point. It's always nice to take the momentum off of getting the first point of the game and continue that with a 3 or 4 point run.
When the level of play is this high, those errors really, really magnify. Another good serve by Jack. Great return by Cliff.
Skip ball. Point.
Great call there by the ref. Even though it was obviously a skip, it was an awkward angle. He was screened a little bit. To see that shot was really a good call.
All tied up here in game 3, tied up 1-1 and also tied up 1-1 in games. This a pivotal game 3, such an important game. As you come out of the court, you definitely want to be up 2-1.
Another good shot there by Jack. And a great ceiling ball rally.
Skip ball. Point.
And once again, from his 6-2 lead in the second game, where Cliff was just playing flawless, his level of play has definitely dipped down a little bit. He's made some more errors, given Jack a few more good looks. Right now, momentum seems to be just slightly in Jack's favor. Good serve again.
Wow, what an aggressive forehand.
And you
Getting
see,
very close to the body of
yeah,
Jack Huczak, but slams it in the left corner.
and Jack's very frustrated because he had everything he wanted off of that serve. Cliff forced it a little bit. Jack had a good backhand opportunity up in the front court and just missed his shot.
There it is.
That's a bad call, too. Just a mishit. You don't even know what to do when it's not perfect.
Yeah, and this is
Top spin.
really a bad sign, because
Serving 1.
when Cliff starts arguing on calls that aren't even close, like that one was a clear skip, that might be a sign that he's losing his focus a little bit, and we talked about that early on before the match, Sean, if you remember. That's kind of a bellwether for when Cliff starts to lose it a little bit.
Point.
Great. That's just great racquetball. I mean, Cliff hit a great return. Jack hit a great diving get. And Cliff actually got to Jack's shot. He just couldn't get it to the front wall. That is just phenomenal racquetball. All great shots.
Both players playing extremely aggressive here. Have a lot of passion definitely want this match.
Set up off the back wall.
It's a good shot by Jack Huczak.
And Jack is really in control of this match now. He's really settled in. Cliff's return of serve has stepped down, largely because the execution of Jack's serve has increased. He's getting a lot of looks during the rally, and he's got a 4-1 lead. Once again, going back to when he was down 2-6 in that second game, he's really been controlling the play. Another good serve.
Cliff got away with one there as Jack had an opportunity to put that down and just barely missed up on that front wall.
Jack getting a lot of opportunities, much more in the flow, controlling a lot more of the game than he was in that first game and a half. And there again, we talked earlier, when Cliff is mixing up his serve well, it's tough for Jack to cut off that Z serve, and was getting into the third wall. Because Cliff has hit all of these shorts, Jack is able to sit on that Z a little bit more, doesn't have to respect the serve down the line and the respect across Cliff's body because he's hit so many shorts.
Jack up to a 4-1 lead now. Let's see what he serves here to Cliff Swain. Oh, wow. That's a nice little flicker by Cliff Swain.
Yeah, great. That would have been a tough rally for Cliff to lose because he missed a golden opportunity. And here you see again Cliff involving himself with the ref for no reason. I mean, it was clearly a good get by Jack.
Cliff lines up to serve. There's his setup. Takes it away.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Great shot and bad positioning there by Jack. He hit it down the line and left it up so much that he couldn't recover and get to center court. And Cliff was able to win with a not particularly effective, not particularly well hit pin shot because Jack was so far out of play.
Some good serves. Now Cliff finds himself at 3 serves 4.
Good comeback here for Cliff, and you know these errors are so important. We remember Jack had that forehand setup that he skipped down the line to go up 5-1. So instead of being in the service box at 5-1, it's Cliff serving 3-4. Little momentum swings are just so critical.
Wow, between the legs. Cliff Swain hits a great shot. We're going to take a little break here. When we get back, more action here at the U.S. Open between Cliff Swain and Jack Huczak. It's all tied up here in Game 3. Both players have got a game under their belt here. This Game 3 all tied up. Cliff Swain lining up to serve. It's 4 serves 4.
Great serve, jam serve.
Unbelievable reverse pinch.
Yeah.
Hits a great forehand. Such focus.
Just great footwork by Cliff there. He hit a good jam serve, forced Jack to flick to the ceiling. Cliff exploded to the back of the court, moving his feet, getting his racket back, and just drilling a reverse pinch in that right corner.
It's a good shot. Great serve.
Boy, what a quick turnaround this was.
Right, Cliff Swain down, what, 4-1? And
Down
now
4-1. Jack had a setup to go up 5-1. He had gone from 2-6 in the second game to 4-1, had outscored Cliff 13-2. And Cliff just a great turnaround here, taking advantage of that mistake by Jack.
That's a bad call. Please don't get... That is a bad...
That's a bad call.
Bad call.
That is a bad call. That was an incredible diving get, and he got the ball off the tip of his racket and just rolled it in that corner.
Jason Thorner, a great referee, but even the great refs even miss calls. It's a tough game to officiate, but he said it with confidence, like he definitely knew, but that's a great get by Cliff Swain.
That was really an incredible shot that Cliff hit. I mean, just full headlong dive. It was kind of lucky because the ball went off the tip of his racket.
Right there. I don't get it. I don't get it. I could see you missing a 2 bounce and calling it good, but it didn't bounce twice.
Pretty wet.
Even though that's a bad call, we both agree on that. The crowd agrees with us. This is what we've talked about. Cliff Swain has got to
this
stay
brings
composed.
Up an interesting question that I asked IRT Tour Commissioner Dave Negretti. I don't understand why the Tour doesn't have lines people to
allow the players to appeal. So if there's clearly a missed call like that, the players have somebody to appeal to and get it overturned. You know, the tour hasn't used linesmen for years, and I think it really leads to some bad results like this, where you see a bad call that could impact the result of a match when it could have easily been corrected if there were linesmen.
Absolutely, and you see that in so many other sports, especially a sport like this that's so tough to officiate. Leaving it up to one set of eyes is very, very tough. That's a good shot, though. Way to keep his composure. Cliff Swain comes back and hits that shot.
Yeah, very. You know, one thing that we've been very impressed with this in Cliff match is that even when he's got into it with the referee, he's gotten it out of his system, come back, gotten focused on the court, got his head right back in the match.
There's a point for Cliff Swain. The crowd loves it. That's a great shot. Puts himself at 7-4.
Again, we talk about that ability, and it's so critical in the men's pro game today, that ability to hit offensive shots when you're off balance or even on the dive. There you see Cliff totally stretched out on the dive, had the balance and the presence of mind to hit an offensive shot for the winner.
What a serve. What a serve.
What'd you say?
Jack not happy with it.
Yeah, that's a terrible call. An absolutely terrible call. That was clearly a three-wall serve, but I guess that would be a justice serve. It makes up for that point that Cliff lost before.
The ball was hit 15 feet high on the front wall. How can it not be 3 walls?
Up to a 4-point lead here in game 3.
You know, once again, it's discouraging in our seats here, Sean, to see bad calls like that impacting the match when these players are playing so hard. I really think there needs to be lines people, video replay, something to prevent bad calls like that from continuing. I understand bad calls are part of the game and some aren't preventable, but some are.
I certainly agree. Wow. Jack very frustrated, takes a timeout, rightfully so. We'll see what happens here when we get back. Our coverage of the 2004 Choice Hotels U.S. Open Racquetball Championships on the Tennis Channel. We're back at an exciting match here between Cliff Swain and Jack Huczak. The champ, Cliff Swain, 6-time world champion, extremely pumped up here in this game 3. It's been kind of a momentum change thus far.
Just a huge momentum change here in this game, and Jack needs to hang in there, if nothing else, to try and change the momentum for the next game.
Great shot. The intensity of Cliff Swain right now. Finds himself looking to take game 3 and go up 2-1 against Jack Huczak.
And Jack's body language looks really bad. His shoulders have really dropped. I think he knows he's let this game slip away.
Hold it, replay.
Put that away. Put it away.
Jack looking for an avoidable hinder.
Yeah, I think that was a good call. I think Jack
Take that shot.
is trying to draw an avoidable there. He had room to take that shot. He could have swung at the ball and gone for an offensive opportunity there. I think it was a bit of a defensive play, hoping the referee would give him the point.
Cliff Swain staying focused, not saying a word. 10 serves 4.
He's going back to this serve that's been very effective the last couple, driving it into the right corner.
Nice effort by Cliff Swain, but a good shot by Jack Huczak as he regains the serve.
Yeah, hits that backhand. And, you know, we talked about it when Jack was down 10-4 in the first game. Even if he's not going to come all the way back, it's real important that he hang in there, try and change the momentum around. Even if he only gets to 6 or 7, may change the way that 4th game starts, which is going to be critical, because if Cliff wins this game, he is going to come out very aggressive, very pumped up, going for the jugular.
What great hands there by Cliff. You know, Ed is very difficult to defend against when he's coming at you with 150, 180 miles an hour every time, and then he's also got the ability to hit such a soft touch shot like that.
Another game point for Cliff Swain.
Skip ball.
Skip ball.
Good call.
Gets a serve back.
Once again, you see Cliff, even on the full all-out dive, has the presence of mind to take a full swing.
4, serving 10.
Jack Huczak serving. Nice effort. Cliff Swain sides out, has another chance to take this game 3. He goes up 2-1.
10, serving 4.
Then Cliff definitely has the momentum at this point. 10 serving 4. Here's the setup. It's over.
Third game.
Cliff goes up in the series, 2-1. More racquetball here on the Tennis Channel when we return. If you're just joining us now, game 4 is underway. Jack Huczak now
Time's in.
serving at 2 serves 3.
2, serving 3.
Goes up, taps the ball a few times on the front wall, thinking and visualizing his serve.
Let's see if he'll stick with that drive serve. I think you may see him come back with one down the right wall or a Z, now that he's got Cliff leaning left a little bit. There's that Z serve.
Good shot.
Great shot.
Jack looking to try to take everything.
Yeah, and that's, you know, once